Hello and welcome to the Guaman Family Kitchen. My name is Sophia and my papi's going to be making us some pizza.
Hello GC family. Tonight we're going to be making a pizza for everyone to see it, and hope you'll practice this one at home with your kids or by yourself. Let's try this way. I got my mise en place here ready. Along with my recipe, I will be sending this recipe to you so you can follow the methods or instructions for making the pizza. Okay, the first ingredient that we are gonna need is the instant yeast. Second one's gonna be a cup of warm water. I got my cup, and the water that we're gonna be getting is you can just get make sure the water is hot from the top water. And the third ingredient is gonna be the sugar. I got the sugar right here. A teaspoon also ready for measuring. The flour. This recipe is going to be calling for bread flour, but you can use the AP flour. The difference between the bread flour and the AP flour is that the bread flour has more gluten. It becomes a little bit more elastic when you're working with the bread flour versus the AP flour. AP flour is a little bit more, it has less gluten, okay? But it will work fine. And the next ingredient is going to be salt. 1 teaspoon of salt, regular salt, and then a tablespoon of olive oil. So I got all my mise en place right here. First, I'm going to start combining the sugar, water, and yeast. Those three ingredients go in first in the bowl. I already have that mixture ready going on here, which is 1 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and the 1 pack of yeast. This little guy here. All right. So we have this first part over here, those 3 ingredients: yeast, water, and sugar in the bowl, and then we're going to let it rest for 10 minutes. And then later on we're going to come back and then combine the rest of the ingredients together and make the dough. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second part of the pizza making. Let's run back to this way. I got all the ingredients ready now. The yeast, sugar, and the water has been mixed. The yeast has been dissolved along with the sugar. I got my flour ready here, the 2.5 cups of flour. Now I have my dough kneader here. If you have one of those ones, great. If not, if you have also one of those standing mixers, it's also good, electrical one, so you can put it all in there following the instructions here. But today I'm going to be using one of these bad boys. So I got my flour in the bowl. I'm going to get this one going. This is part 3 of the pizza making. Here, the dough for the pizza is already double the size, as you see when we started earlier. The recipe will tell you that you need to rest for 10 minutes, but it took me 20 minutes. So what I did also is inside my house right now is a little bit cooler than I thought, so I put it outside, cover it with a plastic wrap, as you see, and then put it outside. So the temperature was perfect today. So you always got to look at the temperature. Okay, now my dough is ready to stretch. My countertop is nice and clean now. I'm going to sprinkle the flour so the dough won't stick to the countertop. I'm going to divide this dough into 2. Okay. Knife, cut it in half. Also part of my mise en place is my sheet pans over there on this side. What I did was I found what I have in my house. So I got this sheet pan here, parchment paper. You don't have to put parchment paper if your pan is non-stick, but if like this one here is non-stick pan, so I'm going to put parchment paper. If not, you can just put a little bit of flour over it, over the sheet pan, so the dough won't stick to it. And so going back to the dough, I'm going to stretch it with my hands. If not, if you don't have one of this, you can just use your hands. Okay, a little bit of flour to your hands. You can do whatever shape you want, and you got your dough. Today I'm gonna do a little bit on a oval kind of shape, and then I'm gonna transfer it to the sheet pan that I have prepared over there. I'm gonna bring my my sheet pan here, lift it, boom, stretch them up a little bit more, and then I'll come back for with the toppings. I'm gonna let this one rest. Yeah. Next one, I'm gonna do the same shape, just using my hands. You don't have to use this, but if you want to, why not? Work a little bit with this. Sure, you got a little bit more flour on top so the rolling pin won't stick to the dough. Gently stretch them. Okay. And this is it. Okay. Alright, now we're going to talk about the toppings. The idea here is to utilize stuff that you already have in the house. I'm going to stretch this a little bit. So you see it's a nice size pizza crust that's going to be. I'm going to put this one here. Rolling pan, I'm going to put it over here. Going to get my second pizza crust here. Going to stretch them a little bit more. And the recipe that I'm going to share with you is the simple tomato sauce, which is I'm using this one here, but you can use some other brands, any kind of tomato. So, but the main ingredient is the tomato sauce in a jar, unless you have some tomato sauce already done in a house by yourself, and then a little bit of tomato paste, so it's going to be that consistency that you're looking for. Also, I'm going to use a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes and chop them up a little bit. You can find those ones. So I found this one in my pantry, sun-dried tomatoes and olive oil, chop them up. So I'm going to be using that. Basil, the recipe will call for a fresh basil, but also it's calling for dry if you don't have that. I'm going to add fresh oregano. I have a little bit back in the back of the house in the garden that I have. Olives also that I found in the refrigerator, so I'm going to use that for one of the toppings. The second topping, the cheese that I'm going to be using for this one is going to be, I got my cheese grate over there. I got some mozzarella cheese, a little Parmesan cheese. Also I found some Calvander cheese from the this is a local cheese, the creamery, Chapel Hill Creamery cheese place. Okay, I already grated my cheese over here, so that's gonna go on top of the first toppings. Next, I'm gonna get my first pizza going. But first, before everything else, make sure that you have your oven set. I forgot to mention this. In my oven here, I usually use at 475 degrees Fahrenheit. And it has to be at least half an hour before you put in the pizzas in the oven. The other thing is, if you have a pizza oven with the stones, pizza stones already in, so you have to make sure you are preheated in advance. Today for my pizzas, I'm going to already put it in like 10 minutes ago. It's going to take another 10 minutes to get it nice and hot, so the pizza will crust nicely. Otherwise, if you go from cold to cold, the pizza is going to get soggy at the end of the day. Again, this is what I have. It's optional. Your toppings, whatever you have. You got some chicken in the house already cooked. You can go ahead and use that and do any kind of toppings that you want. But my mixture is already done here. So the tomatoes, tomato paste, the herbs, the garlic also, fresh garlic's already in there. I'm gonna go ahead and spread this around my pizza. can add as much as you want. I'm gonna make it nice and light on the tomato sauce, and then I'm gonna turn around, get all my rest of my toppings, which again I found little olives here, green olives, sun-dried tomatoes. If you don't like olives, we love olives, so we're gonna be using this here in the house. And then at the same time, I'm sprinkling all the fresh herbs if you have. If not, dry is good. Now I'm going with the sun-dried tomato. Show you, chop them up if you want, whatever size you want. And then I got my cheese. I'm gonna go on top, optional, whatever the amount you want. It's good. So as you see, it's coming out good. It's nice. Look at that. It's gonna be delicious. It's a good size of pizza. And then if you want to add a little bit more cheese, you can add a little bit more cheese. See, my oven is telling me that I'm ready for that, but I'm gonna hold up a little bit more. All right, the next topping. I found this pesto sauce in my fridge, but you can make your own. It's very simple. Basil, the main ingredient, garlic, pine nuts, olive oil, Parmesan cheese. Put it in the blender, you're good to go. Alright, so all we're going to do is spread the pesto sauce around. This is what I have now. You can make, if you have some of the tomatoes at home, mozzarella cheese or fresh basil, you can make you a nice cut-pressed pizza with a little bit of olive oil, whatever you can find in the house. Again, it doesn't have to have any protein in there. Whatever you like inside will be good. Last thing is going to be the cheese again, and that should be good. You can add a little more fresh pine nuts if you want later on, to finish it up, a little bit more texture. Besides that, should be good. I'll be right back. I'm gonna cook these pizzas, and I'm gonna show you the final product. See you in a minute. All right, so it should be ready now. It took me 10 minutes for the pizza to be ready. The recipe is gonna tell you a little bit different, but this one took me 10 minutes. Okay. This is my pesto, and here it is my tomato, olive, sun-dried tomato and cheese pizzas. That's it. That is nice and simple, easy to make. I'm gonna send you the basics, which is the pizza dough, and then you're gonna be creative for on the toppings. All right. Thanks so much for your time, and that's it for pizzas for today. Be creative with your toppings, and meet me back here tomorrow to make some pancakes from scratch.